Santiago. It debuted at number 12, and according to Billboard, it sold 42,000. Now, it was actually on pace to sell about like 50,000, but according to Russ, that Billboard took away some of his real sales. Now, he's upset because most of those sales were like bundles and like some, well, not really bundles. He had sold like I forgot. He sold like a product, or I think it was like vinyls or some shit like that. Like that made him sell really well. Even though the streaming numbers wasn't crazy, like a lot of them were physical sales by his audience. Now he's very proud of this, or he was very proud of this, because he's an independent artist until the final sales came out and Billboard alerted his team that they're taking away some of his sales. Now he's upset. Why is he upset? Because he's looking around and niggas like Travis Scott, they're pulling rabbits out of the hat when it comes to Travis Scott numbers and other people's numbers. Basically, he's now complaining that the game is rigged for the guys who are signed versus the guys who are independent. So he started off by saying this: Billboard and Luminate took away another 4,000 of my real sales over the weekend, making that 10,000 sales total they took away from me, while allowing major labels to fake their streams and sales and do monopolistic merch bundles. And he puts in parentheses, only major labels are allowed to do merch bundles because they're the only approved vendor, because the only approved vendor is a major label vendor. These numbers and charts are made up. The impact, however, is not. Shout out to the fans. He then continues and even quotes his manager. He says, my manager first tweet in years and he's on y'all fucking heads. This is what his manager said. Major labels are hiding their fake streaming farms in plain sight. No one's stopping them. Some of the artists on these labels aren't even aware that their streams are inflated until it's time for those artists to sell hard tickets, at which point the numbers don't add up. It's time to verify streams and sales data on chain via Chainlink. Now, the manager also tweeted, the current music charts are inflated by fake data, and that data is being verified by one company only. The same company that verifies the data is owned by the same company that owns the charts. It's a rigged game. Okay? I believe so. Luminate has been like the new way of like kind of like validating all these type of things. You know, even Nielsen SoundScan back in the day, before there was just, I think, almost like a direct reporting to Billboard, but Luminate now is like the company that kind of like is dealing with streams because, yes, Nielsen, especially Nielsen SoundScan, which I think Nielsen got rebranded to Luminate. Is it Nielsen Luminate? Let me see. SoundScan exists. Okay, yeah. In 2022, yeah, the name was changed to Luminate. Yeah. So SoundScan is Luminate. Now, here's my response to Russ. Russ, I love you, and I want to give a proper response to what you're saying because you hit the nail on the head. About it, let me finish reading what you're saying. You're saying, I don't think you realize how nuts this is. The Billboard charts are inflated by fake data, which is being verified by only one company, Luminate. Both Billboard and Luminate are owned by the same company. Let's verify that, by the way. Luminate data. Let's look at it's owned by, okay. So the owner of Luminate, right, is Penske and Eldridge Industry. Let's look at Billboard. Billboard company. Billboard magazine. Let's see who owns it. Yeah. Billboard's owned by Penske, and you see Eldridge here. So, yes, he's right. Okay, I'm going to give my thought on this, but let me just finish reading what he was saying. So he's factually right. He said, I don't think I realize how nuts this is. Billboard charts are inflated by fake data, which is being verified by only one company, Luminate. Both Billboard and Luminate are owned by the same company. Anyway, I'm going to sit back and watch Milan expose the whole shit, okay? Then the last tweet was, one company, PMC, Penske Media Corporation, owns Luminate, the sole company that verifies data for all billboards, Rolling Stones, Variety, Vibe, WWD, what's this? I forgot what that is. Hollywood Reporter, Dick Clark Productions, Golden Globe Awards, Academy of Country Music Awards, American Music Awards, blah, 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 Billboard Music Awards, Streamies, which that just happened recently, and even South by Southwest. Okay? Now, let's go all the way back. First and foremost, I would say this to Russ. Russ, you're right. However, this hasn't changed just for you. It's always been the case. Nielsen, the previous name before it turned into Luminate, or Nielsen SoundScan before it now turns into Luminate, essentially has always been working with billboards and has always been owned by these same companies. So there's nothing that's happening now that wasn't happening before, but you are right. Did you get cheated? I don't know. You probably have more data on that than I do. Is the game rigged? I've always said that. The game is inflated. People have shown people that the game is inflated, but I've always said the music industry is what we call baseball during the steroid eras. Meaning, let's not say all the numbers are fake, but all the numbers are inflated, or 90% of the numbers are inflated. So I've always looked at baseball during the steroid era like this. Everybody's stats were up probably 30% more in terms of home runs and shit like this because everybody's on the juice. Right now in music, everybody streams at least 10 to 20% of every artist. I don't care from Drake, Weeknd, Taylor Swift, all the way down to the lowest rapper in the world. If they're signed to a major, 10 to 20% of them streams are fake. Facts. They're cooked. They're fake. Now, is an artist cognizant of this? No. But labels do use streaming farms, not only to inflate sales, to try to jumpstart a record, to sometimes change public perception. All these things are happening, right? So, obviously, I think Russ is a little bit upset that his sales got affected in, this kind of rigged system. But the system is a system, and it's been rigged for a long time. Back in the day, motherfuckers used to buy record labels used to just overship to get the big number on the Billboard charts. Before, they used to, at least Nielsen, it was about, well, RIAA still does it. It was about how many CDs you shipped. So, for example, if you shipped 1 million, but you only sold one, it didn't matter. You're still platinum. Whatever you ship from the manufacturer, once you ship over 1 million, you're platinum. So what labels used to do, they know people were only going to buy like 400,000. You know what they would do? They would put in a purchase order for 1 million, right? Over time, that the artist could go platinum. Usually what that happens, they do a bunch of press around that. People are dick riders. Oh shit, this shit went platinum. It must be popping. They're going to go back and buy the shit again. And yeah, it's kind of like the music. That's how the music industry is. All of these companies are in bed with all these companies. Spotify is, there's equity that the major labels own in Spotify, right? And own in most of these DSPs. That's just the reality of it. So the people who are looking to get sales, for example, these labels, they're in bed with the companies that could give you sales, or the DSPs, the platforms that sales get ran on. So then you could make up a theory at that point and say, well, if Spotify and Apple are incentivized because they're contractually binded to these companies, why would they ever let an independent artist pop off rather than just funnel streams or tons of algorithmic streams to their partners that they're already in bed with? It is what it is. So I guess I say to Russ, the game is the game, unfortunately. And you're saying something that I believe most people know, but nobody cares. The majority of this shit is fake. And I've always said, I've addressed Nicki Minaj with this a lot, because Nicki's fans are the most delusional, thinking that Nicki's sales are all real and then everybody else is fake. I'm telling you, the labels aren't going to be like, fake everybody shit but Nicki. Everybody shit is fake. Everybody shit's fake to a certain degree. Okay? That's what it is. Now, there's certain artists that go beyond that degree that you could easily tell. What the fuck? This nigga not popping at all. How you get those sales or how you get those streams? Yes. They're fucking cranking them streaming farms or cranking, these little stream hacks a little bit too much to get whatever. But generally, everybody is trying to finesse the numbers. Also, here's the thing. If you're in business, why wouldn't you finesse the numbers? Right? At least for your people. Because again, to my point, people are dick riders. They want to see artists doing well. They're more likely to follow when they feel like there's a lot more other people doing that. Oh, everybody's listening to it? Oh, let me listen. Let me see. I don't have phone. I don't want to miss out. Let me check it out. This is why people buy fake Instagram followers. Like, shit. Oh, damn. If he got 5 million followers, damn, he must be lit. Let me just follow him just because. Now, if that nigga had 500 followers, you're stingy as fuck with your following, right? That's just the nature of people. People have no problem following somebody who has like millions of followers, but let it be their homeboy that has 500. They're like, yeah, I'll check his page from time to time, but I ain't trying to follow that nigga like that. You know how it goes. Radical 6 says, yo, before the streaming era, were sales still faked on pure album sales? Yeah, labels used to buy albums. So there's times that they'll be like, yo, we're going to buy 100,000 copies. Yes. If anything, it was easier to do then, but it was more noticeable because the labels would just they would literally make these purchase orders or do it. There's a couple companies that were doing it, that they could buy their own records. So it's always existed. Now, I don't know the movie game as much, right? Like, I'm pretty sure, say the Avengers drop a movie, I'm pretty sure they're not like, oh, let's buy out the movie tickets, right? I don't think they're doing that, but they probably have their own finesse too. But in the music game, because music lasts in perpetuity and also part of marketing, is usually the best marketing with music is word of mouth or people feeling like, you know what I mean? Yo, if everybody likes Sexy Red Ski, wee, or whatever the fuck that bullshit is, you're more inclined to like it. If no one liked it, you probably wouldn't like it either. Like, again, I'll keep telling y'all, most people ain't independent thinkers. The music industry has figured this out from a long time ago. They keep doing it. And now, here's the thing. So let's go back to now about this merch thing. Yes, Russ, you're right. I don't think it's going to change, though. Yes, they have a monopolistic merch bundle situation. We've seen what happened with Travis. It's no fucking secret, or there's no coincidence that the rules for Billboard change right before Travis drops an album. No, they are in cahoots. Travis Scott is a priority at these record labels that, like, I remember when 6ix9ine got fucked by Billboard. First of all, Billboard, because it publishes, I don't know if they still do, they publish an actual physical copy of the magazine. When they put out that chart, the chart is printed. So if I said you're number one, I look stupid if I come back later and be like, oh, you weren't number one, this was the number one, especially you're putting in print. So they don't like to make changes to the charts. That's why at times they rather delay the chart. Now, here's the thing. 6ix9ine's label had to stand up for him. But obviously 6ix9ine's not the proper candidate. And by the way, back then he was also going against who? Travis Scott. Essentially, they wouldn't like, and by the way, I seen the emails back and forth. Like, I literally, that's one thing I do like about 6ix9ine. He's so open, and also even his label, they're very open about shit. I seen the emails going back and forth between the label and Billboard, where the nigga at Billboard is explaining why he got cheated out of a number one record. And it was like, there's a lot of shit. They were doing midweek audits. A lot of shit was going on. Here's the point. The label didn't fucking stand on it to force Billboard to possibly do the right thing. Now, maybe he was number two, or maybe he was number one, but they basically folded. The thing with a nigga like Travis is such a behemoth, and also part of Travis's allure is all of this shit that comes with the brand. It's more than music. All the bundles, the this, that, and third. It makes the brand of Travis look so big. Yes, they probably approach Billboard and says, hey, listen, this is how we're going to put out this project. We need these rules fucking altered, or you're going to make a special amends for Travis Scott. They made it. Travis Scott sold 500,000. That's how it works. When you're Travis Scott, you could change it. Now, granted, if you're YB and Namir, Billboard's not even going to respond to the email. Like, fuck out of here. But, like, Drake and Taylor Swift could do it. By the way, actually, I won't say Taylor necessarily has changed. Actually, she has, though. Look at how Taylor releases music now. Taylor is the reason why every rap or every hip hop artist is now changing their philosophy on going back to physical sales. Everybody after around like 2014 was like, fuck physicals. We're only doing digital. So you never see a CD in a store. By the way, stores are shutting down all the place. But they weren't that caring on trying to give a physical product that people could buy. Because number one, the time to press those things up require weeks, if not months, before the album comes out. In hip hop, that was the source of every album being leaked. Do y'all remember back in the day, albums being leaked like 2 months before it came out? You know why? Because the fucking file or the folder would hit the manufacturer. They would get to realize, yo, we have 800,000 orders of, we got to press this up. And somebody at that plant, you know what I mean? They probably knew they were going to lose their job. It's supposed to be a secure system. But they say, fuck, this is an album that I could fucking get and sell on the dark web. And they sneak that shit out of the fucking factory. So now the album is leaked, right? That's how it was mostly leaked back then. So you know what rappers did? That's why shit really don't leak, other than Trippie Redd. I don't know how his shit get leaked all the time. His engineers must not give a fuck about him. So that's how shit was getting leaked a lot. Then all the artists, especially with the surprise drop also helped kill the digital shit, the physical shit, because at first, when niggas was doing surprise drops, it was like, oh, the physicals are going to come in third week or some shit like that, right? Like, it's going to be always going to be behind. Then people just start saying, fuck physicals. Like, we're not putting no CDs out. Also, technology changed. Do you have a CD player in your car? Maybe you do. Actually, most cars still do have it. They just hide it these days. I think I have one in my 2023 car, but it's like in the glove box. Like, you got to go in the glove box and some weird shit. But anyway, people just abandoned that, like selling actual media that, or an actual product that the media could be on, which is the music. What Taylor Swift has done, because Taylor Swift is now selling 2 million records first week and making the rappers look a little bit irrelevant, right? Like, think about Taylor's third week almost beat Drake first week with Her Loss. Like, that's how big Taylor Swift is. Actually, Taylor's fourth week, I think her third week did. Taylor's just, you know how Taylor's doing this? Yes, Taylor has an amazing fan base and it's huge, but Taylor Swift is doing and bringing it back to the essence of what the music business is, which is selling product. Taylor Swift puts out 12 vinyls with 12 different colors, and each one of them she has little nicknames for, and she's like, yo, if you want to get this version, it might have one song different, but this is this mood. Like, she's made it an experience where her fan says, I want that fucking vinyl. By the way, you know who benefited from the vinyl stuff recently too, or who has? Usually mostly like backpack rappers, or like Kendrick broke the record recently for rap, where he sold a lot of vinyls. Like a nigga like Kendrick Cole's gonna do it. I think Drake now is gonna finally get into it, because here's the thing. Drake will never in his life again touch 1 million records sold until he gets back to that philosophy. Yes, Drake is insanely popular. His popularity hasn't decreased. People still love his music. We can't wait for 40 Dogs. But we're going to see Drake in the range, if you ask me, of 300 to 500. We're not going to see more than that. Unless he stops putting out music for like a good 2 years and the anticipation goes so crazy. But Drake is on a hectic release schedule because he's trying to finish that motherfucking contract, get his 600 mil, and probably get another 600 mil or maybe a Billy, because he's just fucking printing money. So remember when Drake highest album sales, right? Like, I think I posted this. Drake highest first weeks was when he let anticipation build. Think about how many projects Drake has dropped in the last like 2 calendar years. He's dropped Her Loss, Certified Lover Boy, Honestly Never Mind. Like, yo, he's dropped mad music, right? Usually that was not the case with Drake back in the day. Let me see if I could find. I did post his, like, the list of here we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. First week sales, right? Like, by the way, if you look at the last 3, with the exception of, we gotta look at the dates. The dates ain't on here, but Certified Lover Boy, if you ask me, anytime Drake waits 2 years plus to drop new music, his sales are going to balloon back up because anticipation is crazy. Like, everybody just loves Drake's music. After Scorpion that came out in 2018, he waited 3 years and dropped Certified Lover Boy in 2021. The end of 2021. That's why he did 600 and some thousand. If Drake releases all the time, he's not doing over 500,000 on time. I'm sorry to tell you, and some of y'all might be like, oh my God, he is the most popular. But if you look at all these projects, obviously have to thank me later, he goes on a crazy feature run. Does Take Care. The feature run's still continuing. Then he drops Nothing Was the Same, which is like, 600,000 twice, crazy. Then he was so hot. Remember, this is 2013. He's so hot that he drops a fucking mixtape. He announces a week out. This is probably one of the hot, like, you realize If You're Reading This Too Late was pretty much released like Dark Lane demo tape, but he was so hot, the shit sold 535. Now, you might be like, oh, well, that's a product of the music, but mostly, I keep telling y'all, first week sales usually are indicative, I want to say about 70 to 30%, like 70% of anticipation going in, 30% of how actually good the music is. So, like, for example, Lil Baby. Now everybody calling his album mid, but he still sold over 200K. You know why he sold over 200K? It wasn't because the music was lit. It's because it's the anticipation after coming off of My Turn was so crazy, he was gonna sell well, right? So the nigga was so popping, drops this. This is what year this is? This is 2014, probably 2014. Yo, he's so lit that he then shortly even afterwards drops What a Time to Be Alive, right? Which was kind of bunched in with Future's own albums, and this was kind of still coming off the heels of If You're Reading It's Too Late. But remember, he dropped quote unquote 2 mixtapes. Like, this was when people were still trying to allocate and call mixtapes. So remember, his last album was Nothing Was the Same. Then everyone's like, yo, he's so hot right now. His next album, he's gonna give us Take Care Part 2. That's what Views was supposed to be. Most anticipated album, if you ask me, other than Carter 3 of all time. You tell me another album that's been more anticipated than Views, I would say Carter 3. Both sold 1 million. Again, my formula is sales is going to most likely be 70% anticipation. That's what's going to make it up. And then 30% of how good that music is. Drake breaks 1 milli. And yeah, whether you liked it, whether you thought it was a classic, it didn't matter. The first week sales already done. Then he drops More Life, which I think is 2017. So this is 2016 Views, right? Then he drops More Life 2017, right? But that's supposed to be he calls it a playlist. But he's still continuing this wave of being fire. Remember 2015, 2016, he's jumping on all type of features. He's on Fetty Wap shit. He's going crazy still. Then we hear about another album, which is Scorpion. He beats with Pusha T, the Kanye stuff, does 700K. But remember, this was a double disc. Remember, this I believe Scorpion may have had more songs than Views. Double disc. He does 732. By the way, here's the thing too. After Views, remember Views had physicals, not the same week, but they had physicals like 2 weeks after. After Views, he never puts out physicals again. Like, I'm pretty sure some physicals get printed, but it's never like a main part of his rollout to sell records. So Scorpion, no physicals, and then after that's really no physicals again. So this is just my synopsis. If Drake waits a year or two, not 2 years, he could sell upwards of 500,000, 600 to 700 range, just like Certified Lover Boy did, just like Scorpion did. If he does this pace where he's dropping every other quarter, I see him in the 400,000 range. You get what I mean? Still great. Still more than everybody in the game. But 400, maybe even 300. For the Dogs, I think, I'll give you a prediction right now. I think For the Dogs is going to do, For the Dogs, I think it's going to do 475, 450. Okay? But the era of Drake selling 1 milli is completely done unless Drake gets back into doing physical copies and a proper rollout. So back to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has now forced the rap community to now embrace product because she sold 2 fucking million. So now, from what I'm hearing, there's a new, like, not mandate, but there's a new focus for the top artists that they're gonna be dropping vinyls simultaneously. Here's the thing. Apparently, with vinyls, rappers didn't. I said this before. Rappers didn't like doing it because just like how the CD process was, Drake turns in his album. Like, this actually is the fact. Her Loss was turned in probably like 6 days before it got released. If we're pressing up vinyls, you can't turn it in 6 days. We actually probably want it 2-3 months before. So again, rappers are starting to do that, but like, like I don't know if niggas like Drake is gonna do that because even right now he say he's still working on the album, which clearly it's not gonna be like violence or nothing like that. But if you think about someone like Kendrick releases, when he releases an album, it's like a fucking like event. He doesn't do it too often. That's why I believe Kendrick's next album, he's gonna. What did Kendrick do last time? Did Kendrick sell over 500K? Kendrick Lamar Morals or whatever. First week. He ain't had no big single. Wait, Kendrick only did 295? So I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Well, I got Drake doing 475. 475, 450. Get me? All right. Enough Drake time. All right? Enough Drake time, brother. Yeah, more topics. Let's get to it. How y'all doing? Give me 1 second. Oh, shit. Let me post this shit real quick. I don't know if y'all seen this. Not the story. Actually, I'll put it on the story.